I'm Jen Schrader, and this is Behind the Springs, conversations with the people working for you in Colorado Springs, Olympic City, USA. Hello, everyone. I'm Jen, and welcome to the podcast. When I think of the Colorado Springs Airport, I think about convenient, friendly service and how I personally wish I could fly direct from Colorado Springs to even more places, and I'm probably not alone. Our airport is growing in terms of service. We have an international airport now, in case you haven't heard the news, and there's also growth and improvement underway in the terminal to accommodate our airport's popularity with travelers. So another exciting change is the introduction of a semi-new aviation director. You've been here a little bit, Alex Kovac, and thanks so much for being with me. You are the guest of today's episode. So welcome to the podcast. And welcome to the position of Aviation Director. I want to dive into all the growth, but I want to tell people a little bit about you first. So you were named Aviation Director a few months ago after serving as the Interim Director and the Assistant Director, and previously working as the Director of Finance at the Reno Tahoe Airport Authority. So in other words, you have a lot of experience in the aviation industry. And for those who don't really know how it all works, can you start by giving us a little bit of background on what your job is? What does an aviation director do here in Colorado Springs?
Thank you for the invite. It's good to be here.
Yes.
First of all, I brought you a gift.
Oh, thank you.
From the Colorado Springs Airport, and everybody has to remember Fly COS.
Fly COS? That's
Absolutely.
the key. That's the key.
So
thank you. This is a great water bottle. I'm going to use that.
You're asking what the airport director does. The bigger question is, what does the airport director not do? Mm-hmm. Or what are the airport director not responsible for? So in relative terms, I'm responsible for the strategic operation and growth of the airport. So as we plan things for the future, both operationally and capital development and adding more air service and improving things, all of those fall under the role of the aviation director. What
does a typical day look like for you? Is it different all the time?
Every day is different. Mm-hmm. And that's the beauty of the job, if you will, right? You mentioned I come from the finance background, which is way more structured, a little bit more black and white. So being in the airport director role is way more colorful. So I'm in sales, I'm in development, I'm in construction, I'm in finance, I'm in properties, I'm in all kinds of different things. But more importantly, I would say that I'm in the service of people, and both from a leadership perspective, looking inwards, so looking at the team, I serve a team of around 130 people. But then also, as we think about the community itself, we're all there serving the community, and that's the reason Fly COS is so important. And I'm not trying to turn this into a commercial, but it's important for everybody to realize and understand that we're there to serve them.
That's absolutely true. You have a wonderful team over there, too. When I say friendly, when I introduce things, I really mean it. I mean, it's a feeling you get of service when you're there as a traveler.
And the team takes a lot of pride in serving the community.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they do.
You can see that every single day.
Yes, that's very true. So let's talk about the growth. A lot of exciting things happening. Let's talk about some of the biggest highlights. Obviously, going international is a big one from 2025.
I've been saying to a lot of people this summer that, remember, in June we go to Cancun, and we did. So on June 7th, we started direct service to Cancun on Southwest Airlines. Mm-hmm. That is a seasonal weekly service. The part that I tell people is you have to remember it's Southwest Airlines, right? So they fly every single day out of Colorado Springs. So you can still go to Cancun with the one stop and come back using the state-of-the-art CBP, Customs and Border Protection facility where you would clear that flight, the international flight. So instead of being at another airport as you come back and then have to drive home, you can be in Colorado Springs, clear customs within likely a half an hour or less, and be home much sooner than if you were to fly in a different airport.
Which is really similar to any domestic flight experience. Is everything is very seamless and easy and convenient and quick. Any TSA check-in is so nice and easy there, right? And that's what attracts people to the airport.
Travel easy. Remember that for Colorado Springs Airport going forward.
Right. That's very true. So tell me about what's happening in the actual terminal, which affects all passengers, whether you're international or not. You're really making a lot of upgrades. Where are we in that process?
Great question. It's a big development for the Colorado Springs Airport, an investment of over $60 million or so. All kinds of funding sources, starting with the federal government all the way to airport cash. Remember, there's no local taxpayer funds that are funding anything at the airport. We have made changes to all of the terminal building, especially the one that is public facing, right? So each one of the gates has been redone. It's looking very modern, state of the art controls, new glass that has been installed. So we're looking at energy efficiency of at least 30% better than what we had before. We've installed a hearing loop for those folks that are hearing impaired. We're looking at a lot of ADA improvements, and we go above and beyond what the ADA requirements are. We're always thinking about the community and thinking about who our audience or traveling public is. We're looking at covered parking at some point in the near future. That will be an investment for us, but as I'm out in the community, everybody's asking for it, so I think that it's a valid question. We need to look at it. Now, if you think about partnerships, this goes beyond what the airport has done or the airport is doing from an investment perspective. SSP, who is our master food and beverage concessionaire, they're investing a lot of money in the food court. They just opened Colorado Craft out in the concourse.
Wonderful place, yes.
Absolutely. We have a new lounge. If you haven't seen it, Global Lounge Network.
I've seen photos and it looks beautiful.
They added their first branded lounge in Colorado Springs. Then if you think about retail, we have some new stores. All of the stores have been redone, both pre and post security. We have a new nonstop store that is branded through Amazon and Hudson. So there's a lot going on.
So there's a lot of growth, but it's still, at least, the times that I've been there recently, still feels like that good kind of easy and convenient and friendly place. So it's kind of balancing both those things is what you're doing.
And that's our goal, right? Our goal is to make it easy. So easy travel out of the airport, but also to provide you with value that is current, right? So from the time that you park your car all the way to food and beverage, and when you're sitting at any gate, in the so-called hold room areas as you wait for your plane, all of those things have been modernized and they're ready for the traveling public.
To meet the demands and desires,
Absolutely.
Right, of the public.
Absolutely.
Right. And I know you do a lot of the holiday parking discounts for people. So that's always nice when you do that around the holiday time, and always very popular, right? So they, not only are you, having the convenience, but you get a deal on that. You're not paying a lot of money for parking and you're close by.
Absolutely.
Even when you're in the economy lot, it's so close.
And if you think about parking, we are definitely the best deal in the area.
Yes.
Right? Our long-term parking, $8. Short-term parking is $15. And we also have valet option for those that, want to pay a premium and get a better service. But if you think about the development and the growth at the airport, you can't forget about Peak Innovation Park.
Yes.
Right. There's a lot going on there. We're looking at partnerships with CSU and the development community. So there's a lot going on at the airport overall.
And if people aren't familiar with Peak Innovation, it's an area where a lot of businesses are. Most people will recognize that's where Amazon is because it's such a large building. But lots of companies are either already located there or are planning to locate there. And it's booming. It's growing at such a rapid rate, which is good for you also.
Absolutely.
And everyone. Good for our whole community.
Absolutely. It brings more jobs. It's on airport property, right? So we need more power. We need more development out there, and that's part of the focus for the team. You mentioned Amazon, definitely a very well-recognized name. Soon enough, you're going to see Coca-Cola. That's another one that's recognized, Frito-Lay. I'm sure we've all heard of that. And just yesterday, there was a groundbreaking ceremony for Opus for a new development.
Yes.
Absolutely, that's happening there. So a lot going on.
That's exciting. So let's talk about the actual flights coming in and out of Colorado Springs Airport. I would imagine you hear people say a lot, oh, can you please add a flight to LA, or can you please add a flight to this certain city where my relatives live? Can you talk about what's the answer? In other words, how exactly are new flights added? I know we've been over that before, but people don't always understand the way it all happens.
It's a great question, and it's a complex way of adding flights.
You mean you don't just get to choose?
I would love to just make it
Wouldn't that be
easy.
nice? Yeah.
We would have a lot more flights if I could just go ahead and choose. But you mentioned being out in the community and talking to people. I love that. And as I talk to people, the first thing that I hear is, I love our airport. And that's fantastic.
Good.
To hear that, that's magnificent, because I can take that back to the team. As I mentioned earlier, we're all there to serve, but they appreciate that, right? We all strive to do better every single day. Now, how do we add a new flight? It's a business case. The part that I tell people is we have to remember all the businesses that operate at the airport are for-profit businesses.
Yes.
Right? So for an airline to come in with a new nonstop flight, which, like I said, we need way more. Currently, we have 19 destinations or 19 airports, nonstop flights, some year-round, some seasonal, but we need more. So to give you an example, LA area is our number one unserved destination. There's roughly 450 people or more that travel back and forth every single day. So if you think about it, even from the airport perspective, it should be a very easy addition because you have the demand.
Right.
The biggest challenge for an airline is to be able to prove that we have the demand. And we have it, right? But then there's other complexities with limited aircraft, limited crews. They also have to find a way to work it into their system. So we have a dedicated team. Shout out to John and Alex there on the air service team. But that's their focus, right? Their focus is to keep the flights that we have today and continue adding more and more nonstop flights into the future. So LAX definitely on number one priority at this point. But again, to answer your question, it comes down to making the business case.
And then once I remember having, I can't remember if it was someone from the airport or a former mayor, but a couple of years ago, we had them on the podcast talking about, remember also, once we get that new flight, you have to book, we have to fill it, so that they stay here. Because if the demand doesn't stay there, they'll pull it.
Absolutely.
It will go away quickly.
And there's a reason I gave you that water bottle. My expectation is you're going to be out there in the community.
You better believe it.
Advertising Fly COS, because you're exactly right. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it, right? So it's part of the challenge with a lot of routes, because you're right. I'm out there and people say, hey, how about a route to LA or a new nonstop flight to DC? We're looking at everything. We have a list of the top 30 destinations, and we're talking with multiple airlines. We're not just looking at the existing airlines that we have, which we honor and we love the partnership that we have with them, but we're also looking at adding new airlines into the future. I almost said the airline name, but I'm going to stay away from that.
Okay, all right, okay. We won't press you too much, but that's exciting news.
Absolutely.
It's good for people to know that it's in the works all the time.
Absolutely. And we constantly have to focus on that because things change, right?
Right.
And airlines, they have a lot of staff, and they also have their staff that focus on constantly developing new markets and so on and so forth. But we have access to data. We live in a world of data, or in an era of access to data. So at this point, we can see how many people go between destinations every single day, and that's very important.
That's very good. So I can tell that you take a lot of pride in your team in the airport. Tell me how you landed, pun intended, in Colorado Springs. What brought you here? Give us a little background on how do you get into the aviation industry. Tell me a little bit about yourself and how you ended up in this role.
Okay.
And with this team.
Well, that's a very long story, but I'm going to give you an abbreviated version for it.
Okay.
So, born and raised in Romania, I'm sure that people can hear an accent, and I can blame it on Reno, but it was not developed.
It wasn't Reno?
It was not Reno, no.
Okay.
I spent 16 years at the Reno airport.
Okay.
Prior to my role at the airport, I was in gaming, so I worked for a casino. That was my first job in the Reno area in doing accounting.
Okay.
And in 2008, with the downturn in the economy, I looked at other opportunities. You know, the casino industry was not booming in 2008 or anywhere near, even after that, right? So there was an opening at Reno Airport Authority for a financial analyst, and I took a couple of steps back and started my career with the airport in 2008. As a child, I would always look at aircraft up in the air. I did not have an opportunity to fly until a much later age. But where I grew up, you couldn't even dare to dream to be involved in an airport or fly on an airplane.
No one was regularly taking flights or going.
Not in that area, but now they also have an international airport, so it's making it much easier for me every time that I go back to see family.
That's nice.
But that's how I ended up in the industry. I absolutely love it. So
you got hooked, obviously. You were
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. It's a lot of fun. And like I said earlier, every day is very different. I'm very fortunate that I have the opportunity to lead the team at COS and then also branching out beyond just finance, right? So it's just a lot of fun.
And you're a big part of the Colorado Springs City team. And
Absolutely.
I think, like you made a good point that tax dollars do not go toward the airport. The airport makes its own money, and it's a little bit different in that way. But still, you are very much part of the city team and part of what we are all trying to achieve, you know, as we move the city forward.
Absolutely,
which is wonderful.
It's great to be part of the city team. So if you think about an airport, we are part of the city government, right? But we tend to function more as a business than your traditional government. So that's also a very important element as we go out there and we try to attract air service. We try to keep our cost as low as possible. And for the community, our goal is, again, to continue diversifying, increasing service that we have out of Colorado Springs, because that's going to do well for pricing. That's one of the criticisms that I hear out in the community, that our prices are higher than if you fly out of another airport that's about 90 miles away.
I like how you don't
know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Okay.
I love that you don't give them any press.
They're our friends.
Well,
so
just mention, yes, they are, yes. You have to work with them.
We are in a very friendly competition, if I can call it that.
No, that's a perfect way to describe it. I think that really is. Right. Yeah, that's a nice diplomatic way to describe it. But yes, we do want people to, I know that the airport, you say, look before you book. And that's a perfect way to just remind people here, don't always think, oh, I'm always go this way. You know, look at Colorado Springs prices and compare the convenience of it all. Too.
Absolutely. And now we have a little widget on our website called Fly My Airport.
Okay.
So you should definitely try that first before you go.
I haven't done that yet. Okay.
Please try it.
Okay. And it's flycos.com is the website. So if you want more information about anything, about flights, about, you know, the terminal upgrades, the different accommodations, the accessibility accommodations, like you mentioned, the hearing loop and some other great programs. You have a wonderful ambassador program there. There's just so much to learn about the airport. And so the website is a great place to get that information. And I highly recommend following the airport on social media too. Great place to get updates, weather updates, or just fun updates. Like I know you have an art showing coming up in the, is that in the terminal area or
Absolutely.
Is that, yes. So you're bringing in art.
We have art both outside of the building and on the inside. So the first art exhibit, if you will, is now there. I've looked at it actually this morning.
Oh, okay.
But we have a reception scheduled for next week.
Okay. So that's another thing people can check out.
Yes. And you mentioned ambassadors. We're very fortunate.
They're wonderful.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. And they can help direct you, and especially with all the new changes. With all the new changes, where do I go to get something to eat, or where's the shop? And they're great at telling, just showing people around whether they're coming or going.
and they always have a smile, and they're very helpful.
Yes, they are. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you. I'm glad that we hooked you. First of all, I'm glad something positive came out of the recession era, that you joined the aviation industry, and then I'm glad we got you, it sounds like, hooked on Colorado.
I love this place.
Isn't it great?
It's absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
I've been here since September of 2024, right? So I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying it.
Just getting going.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for being here, and thank you all for watching and listening, and we appreciate you tuning in for Behind the Springs.